Good morning, students. In the last video, we have seen some of the concepts related to Windows operating system. So starting with the general introduction to operating system, then more specific to Windows operating system and various versions of Windows operating system. And we have seen about the mouse actions, what are all the mouse actions available, and the types of icons, what are all the types of icons available, and the types of windows, application window and document window, and elements of the window, title bar, menu bar, scroll bar, like that. We have seen the elements of window and start menu, what are all the computer icons, how the computer icon differ from various versions of Windows. All these we have seen in the first part of the Windows operating system. So in this video, we are going to see about the remaining concepts of the Windows operating system and the Linux operating system, that is Ubuntu OS. So these are the discussion points which we are going to discuss in this video. So the first three topics are related to the Windows operating system, and the fourth one is related with the Linux operating system, more specifically to Ubuntu OS. So first one is managing files and folders. So how to create a file or folder, and how to move or copy the files and folders, how to delete or rename the files and folders, and how to create shortcuts on the desktop in Windows operating system. And the last one is shutting down or logging off, how to turn off the computer in the Windows 7 operating system. And the fourth one, the last part, is working with Linux. That is the next part of the chapter 5. And more specifically, we are going to learn about the Ubuntu OS. So what are all the options we have learned in Windows and how it differs in Ubuntu. So that we are going to see in the fourth topic. So the first one is managing files and folders. So in Windows 7, we can organize the documents and programs in the form of files and folders. We can perform various actions with respect to the files and folders like move, copy, rename, delete, and search. So all these actions we can do with respect to the files and folders. So the first one we are going to see is creating files and folders. So creating folders, we can store the files in many locations, either on the hard disk or in any other devices. For better organizing the files, we can store them in the folders. So there are two methods to create a new folder. So the first one is we have to open the computer icon. You can able to see two images. In the left, the first image, we can able to see the first method, that you open the computer icon and open the any drive, any drive which where you want to create a new folder. For example, select E colon, click on the file which will be available in the menu bar, the top left corner, file, in that new, and that in the sub menu select folder. So a new folder is created with the default name new folder. So whatever folder you are creating, the default name is new folder. So type the folder name and press the enter key. So then the new folder is created. This is the method 1. And in the second image, you can able to see in the desktop, right click, you can able to see the pop-up menu. There you can able to see the menu called new, and in the sub menu you can select the folder. Again, a new folder with a default name, new folder will be created, and the name, required name, can be typed and press the enter key. So this is how we can able to create the folders, new folders, in two methods. And you can also able to create new files, any application, like say for example WordPad. In your book they have given the example as WordPad. So WordPad is an inbuilt word processor application, like similar to Microsoft Word, to create any document, text document. So all the applications, we have told that all the applications will be stored in the start all programs. You can select, you can start the application from the start menu, all start all programs, and it is stored, it is a default application, so it is stored in accessories, and you can select the WordPad. Or also you can press Ctrl R. You can press the keys Ctrl R in the keyboard. The run dialog box will open and you can type WordPad. Then you press enter. You can able to view the WordPad application, which is similar to the Microsoft Word to create any text document. For saving that, you have to go file menu and save, or you can also select Ctrl plus S. Save as dialog box will appear and you can type the uh, required name, and you can also select the desired location and you can save the document. So this is how you can able to create the files or folders. The next one is finding the files and folders. So we can able to search the files and folders in two ways. First one is with the help of the start menu, and the next one is in the my computer icon. So first in the start menu, click on the start menu, start button. The search box appears at the bottom of the start menu. You can able to see the image. There you can able to type the file or the folder name which we want to search. Even if we give the partial name of the file or folder, it will display the list of files or folders starting with the specified name. So from there we can select. So the files and or the folders with the specified names will appear. From there we can click that file. It will directly open the file or the folder. And there is another option called see more results, which appears above the search box. So if you click on it, it will lead to you a search results dialog box where you can click and open that file or the folder which we are searching for. And the second method is using computer icon, the my computer icon. So click on the my computer icon from the desktop or from start menu. The computer disk drive screen will appear. At the top right corner you can able to see the search box. So there you can able to type the name of the file or the folder, or even if we give the partial name or the folder, it will display the list of files or folders. So from there we can select the required files or folders. So if you want to open a file, if you want to open a existing files, the common method is just to double click or by single click and press enter. This is the two methods, either by pressing double click to open a file, or you can just single click and press enter in the keyboard. So these are the two common methods to open the existing files or folders. And the next one is renaming files or folders. So there are three methods to rename the files or folders. The first method is using the file menu. So select the file or folder which we want to rename. Click on the file menu. In that you can able to see the option called rename. Once you click the rename option, the file name will get highlighted and it will wait for the user to enter the new name. So type the new name, and to finalize the rename, press the enter key. So the new name will get changed, the file name will get changed. So this is with the help of the file menu. And the second method is using the right mouse button. So select the file or folder which you want to rename, click the right mouse button over the file or folder. There you can able to see the option called from the pop-up menu, the rename option. So again the file name will get highlighted and waiting for the new name to be entered. So type the new name and press the enter key. And the last method is, the third method is using the left mouse button. So select the file or folder which you want to rename. We can either press F2 key in the keyboard, or we can just press the single click over the name of the file. So again the file name will get highlighted for the new name to be entered. Again we can type the new name and press enter for confirmation. So this is how we can rename the files and folders. Next one is moving or copying files and folders. So each have two methods. So first, moving files and folders, in the first method is cut and paste. It means that the file or folder will be removed from the old location and it will be moved to the new location. That is the difference between the moving or copying files and folders. So in the first method, cut and paste, we have to select the file or folder which you want to move. Then we can select the options like cut option from the edit menu, or we can press Control X in the keyboard, or we can right click the file which you want to move. From the pop-up menu, we can select the cut option. Then we have to go to the new location where the file is to be moved. There we can select the paste option from the edit menu, or we can press Ctrl V in the keyboard, or we can just right click in the new location, and from in the pop-up menu you can select the paste option. So this is how the first method works. And the second method, drag and drop. So you can able to see the disk drive window divided into two columns that we call it as a pane. So in the left column, you can able to see all the files and folders are organized in a tree structure. So in the right side, the right column, you can able to see the specific folders with the detailed information. So this is how the disk drive window is divided. So if you want to move, first select the files or folders from the right column, the right pane. As without releasing the mouse key, just drag towards to the left column. So first we have to click the file which you want to move. Without releasing the mouse button, you have to drag the file to the left column, and in the left column where we want to move, you can just release the mouse. So the file will be moved from the old location to the new location. So this is how the drag and drop method works. And next one is copying files and folders. So similarly, the same procedure, the only change is the options which you are going to select for copy is, we have to select the copy option from the edit menu, or we can press Ctrl plus C, or just right click and we can select the copy from the pop-up menu. And the same procedure for the paste option. It's the same, paste from the edit menu, Control V and right click, and we can select the paste from the pop-up menu. And in your book, they have given the method 2 as a drag and drop. The same procedure is to be followed as you have learnt in the moving files and folders. The only additional thing you have to do is you have to press the Control key while dragging the file. So first you have to select the file which you want to copy, press the Control key, then you have to drag to the new location. So then only the file will be copied. Otherwise the file will be moved. So in your book they haven't mentioned the by pressing the Control key. So you have to add that point. So this is about the moving or copying files and folders. Next one is copying files and folders to removable disk. So there are two methods. First one is copy and paste, which is similar to copying files and folders. First we have to plug the USB drive, that removable disk, to the USB port, and you can open the USB drive with the help of the removable disk drive icon in the My Computer by double clicking it. First we have to copy the file, whichever file we need to copy. Right click the file and you can select the copy option, or you can press Ctrl C and then navigate to the removable disk, and there you can just right click and select the paste option, or we can press Ctrl V. So this is one method, copy and paste method. And the next method is send to. So similarly, the file which you want to copy, you can right click the file and you can able to see option called send to. This again it opens a sub menu. There you can directly select the USB drive. This is the second method for copying the files and folders to removable disk. Next one is deleting files and folders. So whenever we delete a file or folder, it will move into the recycle bin. So the recycle bin is a special folder that it's a default inbuilt folder which keeps the files or folder which is deleted by the user. So it means that the user has an opportunity to recover the deleted files, and the user cannot access the files or folders that are available in the recycle bin. So the user must restore it, and then only the user can access the files or folders. So first, to delete a file, either we can right click the file or folder, select the delete option from the pop-up menu, or we can just first single click the file or folder by selecting the file menu, and we can select the delete option, or we can press the delete key. So this is how we can delete the file or folder. So for opening the recycle bin, by default in the desktop itself, the recycle bin icon will be there. By double clicking it, we can open the recycle bin. So in the recycle bin, if you want to restore a file or folder, first select the file or folder, then in the top you can able to see the restore button. By clicking the restore button, it will automatically restore, save back to the original position where it is deleted from. And also the user can delete the content in the recycle bin, but once the content in the recycle bin is deleted, the file cannot be recovered. So that is the permanent delete option. Next one is creating shortcuts on the desktop. So shortcuts to the most often used folders and files may be created and placed on the desktop, which helps the user to automate the work. So the steps to create shortcuts is, first we have to select the file or folder which we want to create the shortcut on the desktop. Then we have to right click on the file. You can see the option called send to. The send to option, the same option which we have used for copying the files to the removable disk. The same send to option must be selected, and there you can able to see desktop. In the bracket you will be able to see create shortcut. So by selecting that option, the shortcut for that file or folder will be created on the desktop. So the icon will be differ from the normal icon. You can able to see a blue arrow in the shortcut icon. By creating the shortcuts on the desktop, you can directly open the file or folder without going to the exact location. And the last topic of the Windows operating system is shutting down the computer or log off the computer. So after closing all the applications, the user can either log off the computer or shut down the computer. So to log off or shut down the computer, first we have to select the start button. In the start menu, you can able to see the shutdown button and also a right headed arrow which contains various options. So if you have any open programs, already opened programs, then the user will be asked to close all the programs, and a pop-up menu, a dialog box will appear, which intimates the user to close all the running applications, and also it will ask whether to force shutdown. So like that, the user computer will give a intimation to the user. And the switch user, it switches to the another user account on the computer without closing the opened programs and Windows processes. And next one is log off. So it switches to the another user account on the computer after closing all the application that are running and Windows processes. And next one is a lock button. Lock button is it's just lock the computer while the user is away from the computer. And next one is restart, is nothing but reboot the computer. This option is often required as a part of installing new software or Windows update. Whenever you install new software, it will ask for a reboot option. And next one is a sleep. It puts the computer into a low power mode that retains all running process and open windows in all the computer memory for a quick restart. And the last one is hibernate. So mostly found on the laptop computers, and it also puts the computer into a low power mode after saving all the running programs, and it opens the windows on the machine's hard drive for a quick restart. Both sleep and hibernate are moreover very similar. So this is all about the Windows 7 operating system. Next, we will go with the working with Linux with that is Ubuntu OS. So in working with Linux, that Ubuntu OS, these are the discussion points. So first we will see what is the open source operating system, and what is a Linux, and what is about the Ubuntu OS, significant features of Ubuntu, and how the Ubuntu desktop will look like, what are all the elements of Ubuntu, and same what we have seen in Windows 7 operating system, like managing the files and folders, and last, how to shut down the Ubuntu OS with the help of the session options. First, we will see about the open source operating system. Already we have learned the concept of open source operating system, that is, open source refers to a program or software in which the source code is available in the internet to the public, where the public can download the source code and can edit based on their convenience. All these are at free of cost. The source code is free of cost. So that is the main advantage or the main plus point of the open source operating system when compared to the proprietary operating system. And also, one of the most advantages, open source code is developed with the collaborative effort in which programmers continuously improve upon the source code in the internet and share the changes within the group. And Linux is one of the open source versions of the Unix operating system. So already we have learned about the Linux server distributors. So Ubuntu OS, Linux Mint, Arch Linux, Deepin, Fedora, Debian, CentOS, all these comes under the Linux server distribution. And next one is Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is a Linux based operating system. It is mainly designed for computers, smartphones, and also for the networks servers. So it is a UK based company which is developed the Ubuntu, the Canonical Limited. And next one is the significant features of the Ubuntu. So the desktop version of the Ubuntu supports all normal software like Windows, such as Firefox, Chrome, VLC Media Player. So all the softwares that are basic software that are used in the Windows operating system are also supported in the desktop version of the Ubuntu. And also it supports the similar Microsoft Word, similar open source software, that is Office suite called LibreOffice, so which is equivalent for Microsoft Word. And Ubuntu has an inbuilt email software called Thunderbird, like how the Windows has Internet Explorer. Similarly, Ubuntu also has an inbuilt email software called Thunderbird, which gives the user to access to the email, such as email exchange and Gmail, Hotmail. All the email softwares can be used in the Thunderbird. And there are various free applications for the users to view and edit photos, to manage and also to share videos. And it is easy to find the content on the Ubuntu with the smart searching facility, like Windows has in the start button. Similarly, the Ubuntu also have it. The best feature is it is a free operating system, and it is backed by a huge open source group, and it is mainly developed by a open source group which they have where they have developed and update the Ubuntu OS for better and ease of use for the user experience. And next one is Ubuntu desktop. So here you can able to see the uh, default desktop view of the Ubuntu operating system. So there are many similarities between the Ubuntu and other operating systems, such as Microsoft, Windows, Apple. All these have some similarities with the Ubuntu operating system. So this is because they are all based on the concept of the graphical user interface, that is GUI. So the following are the some of the icons in the Ubuntu OS. In the desktop you can able to see search your computer. You can able to see in the top first icon, and files, Firefox web browser, that is default web browser. Even LibreOffice Writer, which is equivalent for MS Office Word, and LibreOffice Calc, which is equivalent for MS Office Excel. LibreOffice Impress is equivalent for Microsoft PowerPoint presentation, PPT. And next one is Ubuntu software, which has all the free softwares list will be there in one place. And Amazon, which is a default application where you can search. It is an online shopping website. And next one is system settings, which is equivalent for control panel. And the last one is trash. Trash is equivalent for recycle bin. So this is how the Ubuntu desktop will look like. And you can able to see the menu bar, and menu bar is located at the top of the screen, whereas the menu bar incorporates common functions used in Ubuntu. The frequently used icons in the menu bar are found on the right. You can able to see, and the most common indicators in the menu bar are located in the indicator or notification area, that is in the right area, top right area. And also you can able to see the network indicators, the internet connectivity. This manages the network connections and allows the user to connect to a wired or wireless network. And text entry settings, the default application, the default language, the default keyboard layout. So all these are mentioned in the text entry settings. And messaging indicator, if any notification, any new message or any update message with respect to the any application, installed application, that will be shown in the messaging indicator. And sound indicator, the volume indicator shows the volume level. And the clock that displays the current time and provides a link to the calendar. Session indicator, this is a link to the system settings, Ubuntu help, and session option like lock the computer, restart, and user or guest session, logging out, log off, all these shutdown, all these will be available in the session indicator. Next one is elements of Ubuntu desktop. So first icon is search your computer icon. The search your computer icon, which is similar to the search option in Windows. So here the user have to give the name of the file or folder for searching. So the user can also give the partial name of the file or folder, and it will display the search results. And next is the files, so which is similar to the my computer icon in Windows. So from here the user can directly go to the desktop or to the documents, whichever necessary. And next one is the Firefox web browser. So Firefox web browser is a default web browser in the Ubuntu operating system. So by clicking this icon, the user can directly browse to the internet, and this is equivalent to the web browser in the taskbar, and that is Internet Explorer in Windows operating system. And next one is LibreOffice Writer. So this icon will directly take to the document preparation application, which is similar to the MS Word in Windows. Next one is LibreOffice Calc. This icon will open the LibreOffice Calc application, which is similar to the MS Office Excel in Windows operating system. And next one is LibreOffice Impress. So this opens the presentation application, which is similar to the MS PowerPoint. And next one is the Ubuntu software icon. So this icon makes the user to add any additional application that the user want, and also by clicking this the user can update any already installed applications. And next one is online shopping icon, that is Amazon. So where the user can able to buy on all the products, any products online through online. Next one is system settings icon. This icon is similar to the control panel in Windows operating system. So from here the user can authenticate and change any password, user control passwords, and all the installed application program changes can be done in the system settings icons. And the last one is trash. So trash is which is equivalent to the recycle bin in Windows operating system. So all the deleted files and folders will be moved to the trash. And next one is creating files or folders. So similar to the Windows operating system, the user can able to create or delete the files and folders with the same procedure by clicking the files icon. So you can able to see the two methods. The first method, you can able to create the file or folder by right clicking in the desktop, and the second one, a new file or for new folder can also be created by using the file menu. So these are the two methods for creating the files or folders. And next one is deleting a file or folder. So the user can delete the file or folder by two methods. First one is by right clicking the file, the user can select the delete option, or through the edit menu, the user can select the delete option for moving the file to the trash. And also the user can press the delete key after selecting the file or folder to delete the file. The last topic of the Ubuntu OS is shutting down the Ubuntu using the session indicator option. So when the user finish working on the computer means the user can select the logout, suspend or shutdown option through the session indicator in the top right of the Ubuntu desktop. The top right corner you can able to see the session indicator option. From there the user can select the logout, suspend or shutdown option. Here suspend means which is similar to the sleep option in the Windows operating system. So with this the chapter 5 gets completed. So we have seen about the Windows 7 operating system and also the open source Ubuntu operating system, and in common we have seen an introduction about both the operating systems, and also we have seen about the view of the desktop of both the operating system, and also we have seen about the elements of the desktop of both the operating systems, and we have seen about the how to manage the files and folders, how to create the file and folder, how to rename the files and folders, and how to delete the files and folders, and where the deleted files will be stored, and how to restore it, and all these things we have seen about the in common in both the operating systems. Thank you, students.